Dad, the internet. Dad, the internet.
Babe, the internet.
How do you get internet on the road? That's probably been the number one question in the last 3.5 years of us traveling full time. And I'm gonna provide you with some options of what we used to have, what we have now, and just kind of what people have told us on the road of what they use. So a little backstory, 3.5 years ago, we had never owned a camper. We had never been into a campsite. So we had no idea what to expect whenever we got the idea to sell everything that we owned and jump into an RV with our 2 kids and 2 dogs and start traveling the country. But we did know that one of the main things that we needed was internet, reliable internet, not only for our kids to be able to watch and stream and for us to be able to still watch some TV shows and things that we like, but I also work on the road. And with that and the videos and things like that, we knew we needed internet. And from everything that we could read or search and find on YouTube, kind of like what you're doing now, everyone told us do not rely on the campground or Wi-Fi. And I can second that. Never rely on that because it's not typically very good. And that's just how it is in campgrounds. So we needed an option. So I got onto YouTube, started doing some research, and I came across a bunch of different options, but the best one that I could find at the time was a company called Mobile Must Have. And we actually did a video on this a few years ago of our setup and what it was. So if you are interested in Mobile Must Have and you want to go that route, it's very complex, it's very complicated, and they do a good job of providing, you get you get heavy duty stuff, you get the full gambit of antennas and everything, and I had to drill a hole through the ceiling, and it worked great. It honestly did. But the problem with that was only 500 gigs max, and then it would literally just cut us off. And that sounds like a lot, but in today's age, that's really not that much gigabytes anymore. So we were finding ourselves at the end of each month kind of saying, okay, well, I gotta work and I need the internet, so we gotta pull back on everything else. Well, that just wasn't working for us. So about 2 years ago, we were in a campground, and I was talking to a guy, and he had mentioned T-Mobile home internet. And when he started talking to me, just like anybody that I tell about the T-Mobile or the Verizon home internet, they think of the little small hotspots. And this is simply not what that is. And I didn't know, so I started doing research, and we actually ended up ordering a T-Mobile home internet. It was a little tower. I don't have it anymore because the Verizon that we have actually works great, and we just didn't need it. For the Mobile Must Have, we were actually paying $120 a month for the 500 gigs. Well, when he told me about the T-Mobile, it was $50 a month for unlimited. And according to him, it was truly unlimited. Well, I thought, okay, I'm gonna give it a shot. Why not? They didn't charge me for the equipment up front. They didn't charge me for anything. I basically had a trial run with it. They sent me the box. It was just a 12 volt. You plug in, it powers up, and bam, we had internet. And that did work, and it worked great. And then I learned that there was a Verizon home internet. And that's this little cube box that we have now. And this thing has been fantastic. We have since got rid of the T-Mobile one, and these were combined less than what I was paying for Mobile Must Have and the 500 gigs in the first place. So I thought, let's go ahead and get 2 of them. Let's just get one of each, and we're gonna have internet no matter where we go. Well, it turned out for the last 2 years that the only one I've ever really needed to plug in was Verizon. Even when we were in state parks out in the middle of northern Mississippi or in Alabama, where there's really nothing out there, the Verizon box always seemed to work. So, and we have actually been telling people about this just on the road as we go, and family members that actually have homes that just needed a cheaper option for internet, or they were out in the country and it just wasn't working. And they've actually turned to the Verizon or the T-Mobile home internet box bundles. And you can kind of go through, and you can see here the pricing as it is now. Right now, we pay $50 a month for Verizon. If you're a Verizon phone user, then you actually get it for cheaper. I think it's $35, $45, whatever that might be at the time. And it is a price lock guarantee as well. I think they do 3-5 years. I'm not sure on that. You can kind of just reach out to them. Now there is a secret behind the Verizon and the T-Mobile home internet that a lot of people would tell me, well, I looked at that. I tried to go that route, but it wasn't available in my area. Well, it wasn't available in any area we were in either because we didn't live anywhere. We have a domicile address out of Texas that we use, but when I went to type in that address, it said not available. So I just used somebody else's address. I just ended up using my brother's address back in Oklahoma and shipped it to where I was in, I think, Amarillo at the time. Plugged it right in, and it's worked ever since. I've never had one issue with connectivity. I've never had an issue with them saying, hey, you're not in your home spot. So I know that works, and I know it works actually because recently a couple people that we met down in Tampa, I was talking to them about it, and they were using the little, home hotspot things or whatever they were using, and they were getting not as much gigs or the power wasn't there, and they had said, the same thing, that this isn't available in my area when I go to type it in. So I told them that little trick. They ended up using a family member's address. They got it within a couple of days, plugged it in, and they were getting like 300 megabytes. I mean, it was incredible, the difference, and it was only $50, or if they're a customer of T-Mobile or Verizon, they were getting it even cheaper than they were, and they were paying $150 a month to do it the other way, and you were getting throttled down. So another big option that we hear on the road all the time, and I'm sure you've heard about it, is Starlink. Now, this is something that we did look at. We had already had the Verizon box, and so I didn't need anything else. I didn't want to go a different route because it was working. Why change something that's not broken, and it's cheaper than Starlink is? So Starlink offers packages for the RV package is, from what I see now, is about $150 a month, and they say it's unlimited. You got to buy the equipment up front, which is listed at $599 right now. And then the negative behind Starlink that we've heard, we've never used it, so take this with a grain of salt. This is just what we've been told, and from reading reviews and things like that, is if there's trees or any obstructions in the way, Starlink just won't work very well, or at all. So if you're in state parks with a lot of trees or whatever campground you're in that you're blocked in some way, Starlink just doesn't work very well. Now, it does have the wires that you can kind of try to place it wherever you want, but I can say that this little box has worked everywhere, and I haven't had any issues with it of connecting. We can connect up to, I think it's like 15 devices on this thing. We have 3 TVs in this camper, and all 3 of them can be streaming at the exact same time, plus I can be doing my work and Tara can be doing what she wants to. And yes, every now and then it might bog down if it gets congested, but ultimately it's always worked, and we've been very satisfied with the Verizon home box. And it went from $120 a month when we very first started with a 500 gig max to $50 a month unlimited, truly unlimited. We've gone over 1,000 gigs multiple times, and I've never one time been throttled down on speeds. So to say all that, I just really wanted to get this information out there. We've talked to a lot of people that knew about it or didn't know about it, but they may have known about the option of the home internet from T-Mobile or Verizon, but they would go to the website and it wouldn't work because their address wouldn't work because there's no 5G there, right? But there's ways around everything, and that's one of the ways you can get around that, is use somebody else's address, ship it to where you're at. They don't say a word. In fact, one of the guys at the RV down in Tampa that I talked to this about, we went to the Tampa RV show. That's why we were down there. There was a Verizon booth there, and I had just talked to him on the way over there. And so he went and he had told the guy, well, my address doesn't work, and the actual Verizon employee said use a different address. So it's out there, it's available, they want you to use it. I think the reason they do it is because if the 5G technically isn't in that specific area, it might not be as fast as what they'd like for you to get with 5G speeds. But like take for instance where we're at now in southern Mississippi, this campground that we're at is new, and so even when I go to type in the address doesn't even come up. The area doesn't even come up as a 5G area, but the day we got here and plugged this in, I haven't had one issue with it. So it is a very good, cheap option for mobile internet, I highly recommend it. And by the way, I'm not an expert. I do not I do not work with them, anything like that. I just wanted to get the information out there to maybe help somebody else save a little bit of money and have fast, reliable internet. So yeah, so that is my spill on internet. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out at any time. I'm happy to answer them. And yeah, happy camping. See you next week.